In this video, I'm going to be talking about a DMT-induced realization I had that completely rearranged my outlook on language and societal communication between one person and the next. So it started with a low-dose DMT trip that I had that really got me thinking about the thoughts in your mind, the awareness of these thoughts, and then what you say out loud, whether it be to yourself or to somebody else, which is usually the scenario of speaking out loud. And I began to realize during this DMT trip that there is an internal language within my mind that is directly speaking what I mean and what I know to myself, and basically what I want out of that right then and there. And I began realizing this is very hard to describe. It's basically the concept that there is a forbidden, in this culture, it's a forbidden language in all of our minds that we all beat around the bush of putting our fingers on when we're communicating with each other. Basically, we aren't actually saying what we mean. We're trying to kind of persuade and just work our environments into giving us what we want rather than asking or directly doing. So for example, you like a girl and you want to go and you want to be with her, you have feelings for her, but you don't want to come off as weird or not cool or all these other implications that society puts in your head. So instead of telling her, I have feelings for you and I want to spend time with you, you arrange this sort of project in your mind of how can I impress this girl without actually letting her know I like her. Maybe I'll text her in a certain way, maybe I'll say certain things when she sees me, maybe I'll try to be really there for her when she's having problems. It's all these other things than what you actually mean. And this goes for any sort of communication with someone, where what you're saying to this person is an indirect kind of roundabout way of saying what you actually mean. And everybody knows what they actually mean, but it takes a lot of self-reflection to look inward and see, why are you saying the things you are? Why are you saying what you're saying? And when you look hard enough, when you look deep enough, you find out why you say what you say. It's in there. You know why you're saying that. You know how you feel and what you're thinking and what you're going to say to try and work the situation into your favor, but you don't dare say what you mean. You don't dare say what you mean, because in that culture, that's too direct. In this culture, it's too direct, it's rude, you come on too strong, you're weird, you're not cool or good with girls or whatever you want to call it, good with relationships, because you say what you mean. You know what you mean, you know why you're going to say it, so you say it. And I really don't know how this video came off. This was just kind of a shot in the dark. I wanted to talk about this realization I had, that what we say to everybody is based off of this internalized motive that most of the time we don't like to even admit as to why we're saying what we are. Like, another example would be, you asked to go hang out with somebody, but in your head you only just asked to go hang out with them because you know they have weed and you want to go smoke weed with them. I'm using scenarios that have been in my life that I've realized, like, fuck, like, I was doing that thing where what I said out loud was complete just fuckery of what you actually meant, because you knew that saying that would work the situation into the direction of what you actually mean. And it's kind of just like trying to manipulate the external world without revealing and exposing how you actually feel. And you're trying to just basically get what you want without them even knowing what it is that you want. But like I said, through this deep reflection, through this deep inner reflection on yourself, you begin to realize what you want and what you know to yourself and how you feel. And you begin to realize that certain things don't need to be said. Certain things don't need to be said, but certain things should be said directly to get the point across. Stop beating around the bush of what you actually mean. And I don't know, I feel like we are all heavily under the influence of this dodgy like communication we use, where what we're saying is a secondary to what we actually mean. And what I was going to say a moment ago, when I kind of spaced out there, was that through this deep reflection, you could be wrong, you could come out wrong, but it begins to allow you to see what other people really mean without them having to even tell you. You can see it in their mannerisms, the way they talk to you, what they say to you, because you have maybe even used those techniques to get what you want without saying it as well. But now that you've come to that realization of this sort of fucking narrator in here who's like, what can I say to get what I want without coming across too directly, you know what I mean? You begin to pick up on other people doing this as well, not actually saying how they feel or getting across what they mean in whatever scenario it may be. They're using these phrases and metaphors and maybe even certain physical actions that are kind of just playing around with what you know they're trying to get out of the situation. And like I said, you could be wrong, it could not be what they want, and they're just doing that. But over time, it begins to connect. It begins to connect, and you begin to realize that a lot of what people are saying in what they're doing is a repronunciation of what they actually mean or want, you know? I've probably repeated myself like 5 times, so I'm just gonna end it here. I hope you got something out of this, thought it was kind of cool. This is definitely something I've applied to my life. The forbidden knowledge, I call it. No, the forbidden language, I call it, because we all fucking speak it, but we don't know that we're speaking it, and we don't accept that we know it, you know? So that's it for this one. I hope you got some, and I will be back with more.